so always be careful what you say in class, because it will be recorded. The other thing too, for our online students, please be careful of your mics. Oh, we got our first hot mic. So you will have our Teams meetings for classes, but other than that, everything's gonna be on Canvas. So please make sure if you need me for any reason, please make sure to reach out to me on Canvas. I don't use USF email, and I don't use Teams outside of live class or office hours. So Canvas is the way to go, because then I know when I go in there that I've addressed all of your questions and issues. And I don't have to fight through all the spam and unimportant things that seem to fill up my email. So I get right to you. The other thing too is I am very protective of my personal time on the weekends. So I'm already here over 40 hours a week during the normal business week. So on the weekends, I do need to tend to personal and family matters. So if you message me during the weekend or a holiday, you'll get a reply back the following week during business hours. So that'll be something important to note. So just kind of a recap. For communication purposes, our live class sessions will be on Teams for those online folks. We will be communicating through Canvas, and that'll be during the work week. I do have some office hours set up for you already. So if you already have questions, please let me know. Those will be Tuesdays, 5 to 6 p.m. It'll be after our class on Tuesday while questions are still fresh in your mind. Also, those of you who work, hopefully it'll catch you after you're done with your business day. So I'll be on Teams then. You will see a Teams channel for office hours pop up there for you, and you'll be able to hop on and I'll be right there. Same for your TAs when we know who they are. But I do hope that when you leave here from this course, that you'll have a really good appreciation for how much this course is involved in most applications of engineering. Some way, somehow, most likely you're going to be using linear algebra concepts. We're going to need to break down very complex systems into simpler ways of solving them. Linear algebra forms the foundation of many of the things that you will go on to do as sophisticated engineers. But all of these concepts, no matter what major you are, you're going to use them in some sort of way. So you'll be surprised how much linear algebra infiltrates all engineering applications. So we're going to be exploring that through your projects this semester, and you'll get a really good idea that you're going to need to know this stuff. Or at least know what to put in as really good prompts for AI, right? But you at least need to know the bare basics here. So some of our main course topics are going to be, what is actually a system of linear equations? We're going to be dealing a lot with matrices. We're going to be talking quite a bit about determinants. You're probably familiar in some of your other courses with vector spaces. And then we're going to get on to eigenvalues and eigenvectors as well. So those are going to be really useful to you later on. I will say that it is an intro course. We're not going to get all the way through our textbook. It is a 2-credit course, not a 3-credit course, so it is an intro course. So I'm going to cut back your work accordingly. So you'll have exams and you will have a project, but you will not have homework other than those things. You'll have to get together with your teams. There's not going to be homework that you need to do on a weekly basis. So I find that you probably all do your homework using AI now anyway. So we might as well go through those problems together during class and then spare you that time outside of class time. So we're going to be working problems in class, so be energetic, be ready to work with other people so that we can work through those problems. You'll know how to do it, you'll understand what AI is doing. If you happen to use it for solving a lot of complex systems, you'll be able to tell when AI is wrong. That's going to be a big part because AI is simply not perfect yet. All right, so here are some things you're gonna need. And you will notice up there, who can notice that tall picture? What do you think's going on there?
2 webcams.
Yeah, we're gonna need 2 cameras. So we have had, unfortunately, at USF a lot of rampant cheating. So we are becoming more and more sophisticated with our proctoring of exams. So for this course, since it's hybrid, everybody's gonna be taking their exam the same way. They'll be taking it online through Canvas. You'll need to have 2 cameras to be proctored with HonorLock. So HonorLock is USF's official proctoring system. And so it now requires 2 video cameras. So one of them will be a front-facing webcam like you're used to. It's already embedded in your laptop for most of you. But you will need a side camera that then can see the side view of you and what is going on in front of you and what you're doing on your monitors. So you will need that side camera. So that'll be your expense for this particular course. Anything else that you choose to purchase for this course will be up to you, and I'll let you make that decision for yourself. But you will need to have that side camera. So we're going to be using Teams quite a bit, as you will see. And then obviously Canvas is something that you're going to want to have downloaded on your laptops and computers. You'll also want to have it on your phones. Same with Teams. That way you're never disconnected from your teammates or any of the assignments that might be due, and you can keep on top of things. So both of those are available, I'm sure as you probably know, as apps. So Maximilian has the question, can a phone be used as a side camera? No, it cannot. So you will want to get a designated side camera. So phones do not count as a side camera, so that's a great question. So in terms of your textbook, here is where you get a choice, like I said. So with this textbook, did anybody notice it in Canvas? Yeah, so there's a PDF in there. So I'm trying to keep the course very inexpensive so that the only thing you need to do is get the side camera. So the linear algebra textbook is in there for you. I provide you with all different study guides for the exams. So if you want extra resources through the publisher Wiley, like if you want extra problem sets, or you want problem answers to a lot of different things, or you want any of their online study resources, that'll be up to you whether or not you want to purchase that. Or if you want to pair up with different people and share resources, up to you. But you don't have to buy it if you don't want to. You can just use what I've provided there. The other thing that you definitely want to do, does everybody have Microsoft 365? I'm sure that's probably a given for most of your courses, right? You can get that for free, so please don't pay for that either. Then anything else, we might do some different YouTube videos. If we feel so inclined, we might decide to pick out an interesting movie that relates to linear algebra. So those will be details later. And most likely those will be something that you might do with other people in your class. You wouldn't have to buy it. So hopefully you figure out who might have access to some of these things. But lots to come up. So if you do decide to go ahead and get the textbook on your own through Wiley, that ebook, do make sure it's the 12th edition. You don't want to be referring to problems that we don't know, that don't match with the latest editions. So I will leave that up to you, but we are looking at the 12th edition for this course. So don't forget your HonorLock proctoring of exams. So that's something you'll want to decide if you want to take the course. That'll be something that will be required of everyone, whether you're in the in-person or the online section. Now, this course is going to be interesting because it's considered synchronous, and so I asked people if everybody's aware of what that means. So yes, you have a question.
For the side camera, do you guys have it in USF or we need to buy somewhere else?
Yeah, so that'll depend upon you for your side camera, like what it is you want to expend. So you should be able to get them pretty cheaply on Amazon, just a USB.
But do you guys have it on at USF or no?
You can see if the bookstore has them, but that's kind of something that people kind of like to buy, their personal preference. So you don't have to get what USF offers, as long as it connects to your laptop through USB or USB-C, and it works with AutoLock, you should be good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, so
For the exam, is it specific? Can you take it at any time, or does it have to be specifically like in 2:30 for the exam?
yeah, so we're getting into that, exactly, for sure. So that ties in right with this point. So synchronous, everybody know what that means? So that means you have designated times in your student self-services, right, when you register for the course. So we're not going to be jumping way ahead. We're all going to keep on the same pace together. When we're here in class together, we're going to be working on problems together. You will be basically given materials as we progress through the chapters. You'll notice new modules popping up for that content. So that's different from an asynchronous course. So has anybody ever taken an asynchronous course before? You probably have through like Coursera or maybe some other platform maybe. But with an asynchronous course, that means everything is front-loaded for you. And they usually use terms like self-paced. Does that kind of ring a bell? So yeah, so with asynchronous courses, they load everything in there, and then you just, in your free time, you'll go through and do little portions of it at a time whenever you're free. But we're more classical style with the synchronous days time, so there's going to be things that we're going to be doing all at the same time together. But that brings me to the point about exams. So that means we're going to be taking exams during designated days times for this class. And that means that everybody will be taking exams at the same time. So there's no confusion. You'll know what days the exams are going to be. You know it's during class time. So did anybody notice that all of those have already been listed for you in Canvas?
Yeah,
so the course schedule is already in there for you. Also, all of your mandatory exam dates are in there for you. So you can go ahead and plan right now, to make sure you're available on those days. I also call it, you probably heard this too, this course is hybrid format. So it's not only synchronous, it's also hybrid, which means that we've got everybody together from our online and our in-person sections. That means we're going to be doing a variety of activities. So some of our class sessions during our time will be here in class, sometimes it'll be online, sometimes it'll be video watching, sometimes it'll be teamwork. But irrespective of the activity, we know that you all are available during these times. So we'll be able to coordinate all of our things together. You'll also be taking your exams during class times too. But we do have a couple asynchronous aspects, so you're always going to find all of your assignments, all your materials in Canvas that you can access at any time. The one thing also though is with Microsoft Teams, please make sure that you use your USF account. We are not allowed to let unauthorized users in. So if you're trying to come in with your cell phone or some other thing that's not your USF account, I can't allow you in. So it's got to make sure you have logged into Teams with your USF account, and then you're all good to go to pass through with no problems into the team meeting. I would recommend that you download the full application as well as be versed in how to use the website version. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that you are understanding is there's going to be a couple different channels in Teams. So under the general channel, you're going to see all our meetings together. And there's going to be a meeting for each class session. So that way, if you miss something on a certain day, you know how to go right to it. Find that recording for that day if you need to. The other thing too is you're going to see the office hours channel, and then later you're going to see all your different private teams channel for your teams, for your team projects. So quite a few things going on with Teams. Please make sure you stop me if you've never used Teams like this before. You want me to show you where different things are. because I want to make sure you're well versed in how to use it. I would say
Guess it's
a big majority of employers use Teams. Either that, if they're not using Teams, they might be using Zoom or some other comparable platform. So it's going to be really, really important that you know how to work these well. I think we had a question over here. Did you have another question? Did I miss one? No? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so this will not be asynchronous because Billy D says I did async last summer and did all the assignments on the last day of class. So no, you won't be able to do that here. Let's see, so Samuel says, will the class sessions recordings be available after class ends? Yeah, so as soon as class ends, the recording will save. And so you'll want to wait a little bit of time because it needs to save properly. But usually within like a half hour after class is over, you should be able to access that recording through Teams. Does everybody know how to do that? You ever had to access recordings of class sessions through Teams before? No?
I don't know.
Okay,
Me either.
let's see if I can. So it won't be a perfect thing right now, but you will see a screen. We've got a couple different screens in Teams. So this one is going to be that kind of shows the overview of the course. So like I said, here's your general channel. There's going to be some other channels that pop up for you to use. You'll notice that you have some different menu options here across the top. So once we've had our first class session, there's going to be another menu option that says Files. And then once you click into that, you'll have a whole folder that's recordings of the class. It's not showing up now because we don't have our first recording yet over. But you'll want to go ahead and look up here through those menu options. And I'll show you next time, just in case you didn't see it. So here's like kind of our overview for our course. And then obviously we have the class session with all the attendees in this window. So you'll want to become familiar with these different windows in Teams. And then also we're going to be showing, you'll want to be familiar with how to like share your screen, like different cool stuff like that. So any of those kind of things that you need help on, please let me know. Alright, so, yeah, so very, very important thing to kind of learn about is Teams. But like I said, we're only going to be using it for those class sessions where we have live class sessions, and then we're going to be using it for office hours. Other than that, I am not on Teams all day long, just so you know. I have to go teach other classes, I have other meetings, so I'm not hanging out on there all day. Alright, so this is going to be a very fast-paced course, as you can imagine, because who knows how long our summer is. You're like, oh my goodness, how many weeks? It's 10 weeks. Whereas your normal semesters are usually 15, folks. So we gotta crunch it into 10. So my biggest recommendation to you all is please don't fall behind. You're gonna wanna make sure you keep up with what's going on in Canvas. You're gonna wanna be looking out for a couple of these different items. So hopefully you already noticed that there's PowerPoint files for each of the chapter sections. There's also videos for each of those sections. We're going to be having in-class discussions and problem sets. We're obviously going to have some different homework assignments with your teams, and you'll have that final team project. And then don't forget, you're going to have those exams. But like I said, most of the stuff we're going to try to get done during class, so it's less homework for you all. Yes?
Is this going to be a flip class?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Lectures online and then
Yes.
we do.
And then we do problems together in person. You're exactly right. So good observation there. So how it works is since we have both in-person and online sections, I'm trying to bring you the best of both worlds, where you get a little taste of an online class and you get in-person help as well. So what happens is on Thursdays, you will have your videos in Canvas to review. So you want to make sure that you go through those different concepts. So the videos are not longer than a normal class session, so it'll be the same amount of time. So So you wanna make sure you go through those content videos, and then the following Tuesday, I'm gonna count on all of you having watched those videos, because on Tuesdays, you can guess what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing all the problems. So if you have no idea when I say, ooh, what's a coefficient matrix? Then it'll be a little bit harder to get through all those problems as fast as you want to in a class period, right? So do make sure that you watch them. I'm gonna count on you doing so. So there's where you have your flipped classroom format. You will need to watch those videos before you come in, before we do all our problems together. So we're gonna try to have some fun here during class, where you're gonna get to do problems with each other. We might have some friendly competitions. We'll see what kind of creative stuff you all come up with. And hopefully that'll kind of really sink in, like how to solve complex systems in very simple ways. And then you'll have your team project that you will also have class time to work on. So you'll see how it all goes as we go along. So who noticed something else that I posted in Canvas? That would probably be pretty important, given what I just said about all the things going on. So what might be a good piece of information to kind of bookmark or know exactly where it is? So Alejandra, you are right. There are no live sessions on Thursday. So that is your day to use this class time. So you gotta go through the content videos. You can pause them. Fast forward parts you already know. So that part will be kind of at your own pace. You're gonna wanna get it done on Thursdays.
Wait, there's no.
And then on Tuesdays, we come in, we work problems together.
Wait, there's
Class
no.
in person.
Yeah, so we don't have to worry about meeting here. So I'm kind of trying to basically show you what it's like to have both an online and an in-person class at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So Thursdays you have your videos, and then on Tuesdays when we come in, we do problems. So make sure you watch those and you can bring your questions.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So for the homework assignments,
Yes.
is it gonna be in Canvas or is it gonna be like on Microsoft Teams? Because when I look on it, someone said it's due on Microsoft Teams. Is that true?
What is due in Microsoft Teams?
When I was looking at the syllabus.
So
I did-
Microsoft Teams, that's a good question. So Microsoft Teams is used for live class sessions. It's used for your teamwork. Like, so you'll have a private team channel for your team. It's also used for office hours. But then everything else is gonna be housed in Canvas. So you'll see all your assignments in Canvas. That's where you'll submit your assignments. Your Canvas will have important class announcements. Your Canvas will also have all of your exams, which you'll take online. So Canvas is really, really, really important to know. Okay, so any questions?
So
What is going on? Yeah.
I see 7 videos right now.
Yeah.
Are we when are we supposed to like watch those? Or you
Yeah.
said on Thursday we should watch all of those?
So Thursday you will watch some content videos, and then on Tuesday you're gonna be ready to work problems from the meeting. So remember when I asked what's something important you might want to take note of? Did anybody notice anything in Canvas? So how will you know what will happen when?
Be updated.
What do you guys think? Anybody have an idea? All right, so let's go to it, since looks like I'll need to show you on that one.
Yeah. 'Cause
All
my
right.
brain's-
So what you'll want to pay very close attention to is this top module that says syllabus and course schedule. So your course schedule, you got your mandatory exam dates there, and then you also have your schedule. So let's take a look at that. And that's where all the good stuff is, folks. So if you notice, it'll tell you what's happening on each day. So for instance, Tuesday, we had our introduction to the course. We're gonna be doing some other activities. Then Thursday, then it tells you which of your content videos you're gonna review. And then it tells you for the following Tuesday. Tells you what problems we're going to be looking at there. So you'll know exactly what's happening on what day. Also, we have a column here for what assignments are due. So this is something that you'll definitely want to make sure that you pay a lot of attention to. So I put it all the way up there at the top for you. So do make sure that you go through it. You'll notice that it also has the format listed. So if we're going to be hybrid, or if it's going to be individual work, or if it's going to be virtual only. So you'll want to look at the modality there, or format. So that'll be important to pay attention to. But you can see that it follows a pretty repetitive pattern on what you're doing. So Thursdays you got your content video, and then Tuesdays we have our problems we work together. And you'll be able to tell from like team meetings and other announcements that will clarify anything that you might have questions about. So the next Teams meeting that you'll see pop up will be for when?
Next
Tuesdays, yes. So what's happening on Thursday?
Individual.
Yeah, you've got your individual work. Okay.
Can we still ask you if we need help in class or at your office hours?
Yeah. Yeah, so office hours in that Tuesday session when we go through the problems together, that's when you want to make sure that you get all those questions in.
Okay.
Definitely. All right, so that's something that you're going to want to make sure that you check out. Let's see if we got any questions from online. Yeah, so Christian says yes, the schedule calendar, yes, you're absolutely correct. You're going to want to check that out. Okay. So then we have important point here on your grading scale. So I anticipate that most of you will get an A in this course if you put in good effort. And if you make sure that you keep up with the content, there's no reason not to get an A. You have exams that will make up 60% of your grade, and then your team project. And like I said, you'll have class time to work with your teams. So the majority, a lot of that will get done when you're all available during these class session times. So you'll notice that we have a very wide 10-point scale for an A. So that's why I say I would anticipate that if all of you keep up with the work, you pay attention to the videos, that you also come to our days when we're working problems, you ask your questions. I would highly recommend that you attend class. I know in summer that it's really tempting to just blow off class and just watch recordings later. But you'll be surprised in the summer how quickly things can kind of really pile up on you. You're going to want to make sure that you practice the problems, because on the exam, the element to an exam is that there's a time limit, right? So if you haven't seen those problems before and you're waiting till like the night before the exam, it becomes a little bit harder then for the exams to get all those problems done in time. So you want to make sure you're practicing with me, okay? So I would highly recommend that Tuesdays become a very big priority for you. I know that you all have very busy schedules in the summer, so I've tried to make it where there's a lot of flexibility with this course. But Tuesdays are going to be really, really important for those problem sets. Okay, so here's some things that I do expect of you all. I do expect that you understand that A means excellent. I think a lot of students over the years have come to think of A's just as being, I met all the requirements of that assignment. That is not the case. Just because you do something, it doesn't mean that you do it well. So I do expect that A does mean excellent and very high quality work. So keep that in mind. It's also something that employers think as well. Do they want the students that just did the bare minimum of all the things that they had to do? No, they're going to want the employee that puts in the extra effort, that has that high quality to their work. So keep that in mind. You're doing all the things now to practice for when you are going to be employed one day. So you want to be thinking about, what can I do to make sure that I'm putting forth quality work for my team members? Am I being a really good team member by responding to people's messages? You know, am I not procrastinating so I'm not stressing out the rest of my team? So be thinking about those types of things. Also, I do hope that you will get the most out of our times together when we work problems. So ask those questions, be ready to work problems with others, be giving of your time and understanding with your partners. You know, we're all at different learning paces, so this is something that you'll also encounter in the workforce. So anything that we can do to help other people, that's a really good attitude to have. The other thing too is I do expect as an A student you will turn in all assignments on time, and that I also do expect that A students don't come up with all these excuses for why they couldn't do stuff. So if you're an A student, we can count on you. All right, let's progress. All right, final alert here. This course does have teamwork. So, does anybody know why in the world we would throw in teamwork here?
It's realistic.
It's realistic. Guess what you're gonna do as soon as you get a job? You're gonna be working in a team. There's no way around it. So we are trying to give you team project experience in every course that we can because we want you to make all of your mistakes here. Figure out here what doesn't work. That way you don't do it on the actual job and face any issues with potentially getting moved to a team that you don't want, or, you know, worst case scenario, getting fired. So make your mistakes here, figure out what does and doesn't work for you. Figure out how you're better at finding people who have similar philosophies on teamwork, similar philosophies in work ethic. You're going to want to develop those skills and being able to find, you know, others that can work well. So it's going to be really, really important. Alejandro says, will there be practice mock exams posted on Canvas? You bet. Yes, of course. You will get study guides, you will get practice exams. We'll be doing problems in class, so you're going to be really, really well versed on what's going to show up. So, like I said, we're going to have a project that will be due the last week of classes, so that'll be week 10. So make sure you consult that course schedule so you know when that will be. So I put it up here Tuesday, July 21st, all that good stuff. All right, so then a little bit about exams. So we've already kind of covered this already, but you will be taking them during class time. So you'll want to see in Canvas, I've got that whole page for you on your mandatory exam dates that are already set for you, so you can plan ahead. You will be taking it at the same time as everybody else in the class during our class session times. Here, in case you haven't found the course schedule yet, you want to take a screenshot, here are your dates. So exam 1 is going to be Thursday, June 4th. We got exam 2, Thursday, June 25th. Then exam 3, Thursday, July 16th. So they're pretty evenly spaced as much as possible. You'll notice that they're all on Thursdays. So you can kind of get in a routine there. Now, one thing you should know, and students usually love this, is that your lowest exam grade is dropped. So that's really good news for those of you who have vacation plans, or you have internships where one of the days you just can't take the exam, or you have something else that possibly pops up. So just know that your lowest grade will be dropped. So if you're not able to make one of those exams, that doesn't mean your whole grade goes down to 2, so that'll be the one that is dropped if you don't end up showing up. So do keep that in mind. Yes?
Do you allow taking exams early?
No. That has led to rampant cheating. So no, everybody's got to take exams on the same time on those dates during class time.
And
So on those dates, you'll be taking your exam from 2:30 to 3:45.
is there a separate final exam, or is it just these 3?
Just these 3. Because instead of a final exam, you have that final team project.
Oh.
Yeah, because otherwise that'd be too much for a 2-credit course.
Is it
So,
cumulative?
yes and no. That's a great question. So each of these exams are on different chapters, and so theoretically they're not cumulative because they're covering different chapters. However, if you don't understand some of the things from the earlier chapters, they all build on one another. So then it's gonna be harder to understand the concepts from the later chapters, if that makes sense. But no, not technically cumulative. But yeah, so the first exam will be on chapter 1, exam 2 is on chapter 2 and 3, and then exam 3 will be on chapter 4 and partial 5. So you'll see how it goes in the schedule. But you'll wanna know all of those concepts, because we'll build on that. So no taking exams early, that is led to cheating. Somebody takes an exam early and then tells everybody else what's on the exam, so why would you be allowed to take an exam early? There you go, yes?
So the exam, is it more than 2 hours then, since it's on between class times, or a little less than that?
Oh yes, it can be less. So great question. So you'll notice that our class session timeframes are from 2:30 to 4:40. Now, for me to be fair to you compared to other semesters, I'm not gonna test you for 2 some odd hours, right? I mean, that'd be a much longer exam than your counterparts in the fall and spring semesters. So, your exams are the same amount of time as their exams, which would be an hour and 15 minutes, the length of one class session time. So that means the rest of the time is yours to work in your teams, or to do whatever you want. I know your brain is going to be fried, you don't want to do anything else on those days. So, but you will have an exam for only an hour and 15 minutes. Unless you have SAS accommodations, and then that's a different story. Please make sure that you get those documentation into me if you need it. Yes?
If it's gonna be out of 15 minutes, how many questions would that be, exactly?
Yeah, so on all the exams, there's only 10 questions, but they're different types of questions. And we'll talk about that closer to that time, right? So we're not gonna go through all the details of exams, but they're generally 10 questions. They have different types of questions like multiple choice or essay or a challenge question,
Essay.
or sometimes true false. So you'll get a variety of questions. But there will only be 10. Yeah, so according to USF policy, there's only a few things that will allow you to have a makeup exam. Otherwise, you will need to use one of your drops. So that means if you do have an internship, you will need to make sure that you work out with your employer that you'll need to take exams on those designated days. Now, they should be very willing to do that since you're an intern and you're not a full-time employee. As an intern, they should expect that you still are in school and needing to pursue your degree. So they should be lenient about that. If you need my support on any kind of letter, or if you need me to talk to your boss, you just let me know. But they should be accommodating to interns, because that's the whole point. You're not a full-time employee, you are an intern. So please make sure if you do have an internship that you get those dates settled with your employer. Like I said, one of your exams can be dropped, so if there's something absolutely like a really important employer meeting that you have to make, then that will be the exam that you want to use that drop for. So do make sure that you plan wisely on that. So with the late policy, which obviously does not apply to exams, you'll notice that I have most of the assignments that are due on Tuesdays. I try to keep things as routine as possible. So like Tuesdays are our problem days. Tuesdays are when your assignments are due. Thursdays are when you have your videos, and Thursdays are when you have your exams. So that way you know what to expect throughout the semester. So if you do have a team assignment due on Tuesdays, just know you do have 3 days grace period without a late penalty to turn it in by Friday if you need to. But once that submission window closes on Friday, you will no longer be able to turn in your assignment. So do make sure that you get things in on the actual due date, and you treat that grace period as something that you're going to use for emergencies. Like if your internet goes out, or I don't know, something happened where you get stuck in traffic, you know, those kinds of things. Where you have it done, you just couldn't get it in by the deadline, and then you have that grace period to get it in. The other thing too is anything that we have that's labeled in class, I do expect you to finish in class. Make sure that you're participating and contributing to your team. So my favorite saying is, do or do not, there is no try. So either you're here in class and you're participating, or you take your exams or not. Either that or you get your assignments turned in on time, or you don't. So you want to make sure that you are very purposeful in all this, that you plan ahead, and that you're going to be all going to be A students, because I definitely know that you can do it. Certainly no reason not to. So I would recommend that you anticipate that you have a couple hours that you're going to need to spend outside of class if you need the extra practice. So for instance, if we go over problems together and you need some extra practice, I recommend that you put in the time. Certainly if your team is not as efficient as you would like during class time, then you are going to have to put in the extra time outside of class to finish what you need to for your team assignments. So my key here is make use of class time. Don't make more work for yourself outside of class unless you really, really need to. Because I'm trying to account for you getting most of your stuff done in here, okay? We're going to get that 2 credits in and not have you be laboring so much outside of class. All right, so any other questions? Let's see. Keegan says, are all the all the exams are online? You bet. So they're all going to be online. You don't need to come in here. You'll take them from a location of your choice. Just make sure that you have reliable internet and that you have Honor Lock properly set up. And I find that most people do a lot better if they're in a place where they feel really comfortable, that they know that they're going to do well. They know that they can have their laptop plugged in, because as you notice, there's only so many plugs in a classroom. Yes?
So you said we don't have homework, but like we have team assignments?
Yes.
So there's
Yes.
no solo work per se?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm counting on you to come in class on Tuesdays and really participate. Make sure you know how to work the problems.
So the team assignments are in person and online?
Yeah, so you're going to get designated teamwork time to work on those assignments.
So no like external homework?
Well, it will depend on the efficiency of your team. Like
Okay.
whatever you don't finish in class, then that will turn into homework. So, and there's going to be like some things that you will want to do outside of class. Like I'll give you one hint, like you're going to want to go on some team building excursion with your team. So that won't necessarily be in class, but it should be fun. But most of it you should try to get done in class for those days that it doesn't need teamwork. And you know that people are available then. So then it kind of eliminates a lot of that scheduling issue. Well, Tuesdays, Thursdays, you know you have linear systems class. You know everybody's going to be there. So let's see, how are online students expected to participate in team class activities? Well, you're going to have to go into breakout rooms and you'll have to do the activities just like us here in class. So you will have to wait and find out. So you're not off the hook if you're an online student, that's for sure. I will be expecting to hear what you guys have to think, just like you're doing now. Any other questions? All right, go for it.
Will there be hybrid teams? Like
You
some
can, yeah,
universities?
good question. You could have a hybrid team. So there are risks to that though, right? What's the risk of having a hybrid team? Communication sometimes. And I'll be honest, it is a lot easier to work in a team when you can interact with people in person. Not to say that online teams don't work, but there's no accounting for that interpersonal chemistry, being able to read people's body language, read people's energy levels. It just gives you a little bit better level of understanding of others. But you can certainly have combo teams, because you might already know people online very well. But you will wanna make sure that you are being very inclusive of everybody equally. So a lot of times what I have seen with combo teams is that the people who are able to meet in person, they form a closer bond than with the others that are online. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you make that extra effort to really bond with your online counterparts. Yes?
For the exam part, when you mentioned the exam will be 1 hour and 50 minutes, is there a specific time between 2:30 to 4:50, or does that be exactly at 2:30?
2:30 to 3:45. That will be what your exam times are.
Oh.
Yep. That way everybody takes it at the same time, and then I have enough time left over if anybody needs SAS accommodations.
Okay.
So yeah, so make sure you mark it 2:30 to 3:45.
Okay. You mentioned from the homework it's gonna be either multiple choice or write a problem, but didn't you say type an essay? Is that
Yes, there will be some essay questions.
how long does it have to be the essay then? Like,
So these are all details that we'll get into, like, as we get through the course, because then you'll have an idea of what, like, say, proofs look like, or you'll have an idea of, like, what the problems are like. So without seeing, like, the type of problems, it's kind of hard to describe.
and for each question, is they worth 10 point each, so some of them might be a little bit different.
Some might be a little bit more, depending on how much effort you have to put into it. But as a general rule, they're usually about 10 points each.
Okay. Is there any like extra credit from some of these essays or with some of
No.
these exams or no?
No, there'll be extra credit that's completely separate from exams. Because like when you're taking the exam, you should just be focused on the exam,
Gotcha.
not worrying about extra credit at that point. So extra credit will be separate assignments in Canvas.
Okay.
All very detailed questions. We will definitely go over much more about exams for sure. I know you all have a lot of questions. Any other about just the overall layout of the course? How things will be handled? Yes.
There will be no in-person class next Tuesday because it's all virtual.
Because of what?
Because it's all virtual by the cities.
Yes. Yeah, so you'll want to look at the modality. Really good job paying attention to detail. I'll send out an announcement just so that you're aware. But yes, for the schedule for next Tuesday, that one will be virtual.
Which
So you're going to want to make sure that you are looking at each of these sessions for the details. Like I said, they most likely follow a very distinct pattern, and you'll notice that. There might be some exceptions, depending on what's going on that week and other things that I have to account for with my job. But most of the time, we're going to be here on Tuesdays all together, and then Thursdays will be your concept videos. So that's the usual pattern. But there might be a couple of exceptions because there's going to be exams or teamwork, things of that nature. But yeah, you'll want to check out the schedule for each of the days. Yes.
for the ones that are online, would you send an invite in Canvas then, or there's supposed to be a link for that specific?
Yeah, so what happens is that when we meet for a live class session, you're gonna see it in the general channel just like this.
Oh, so
So I'll create, and it'll appear on your it'll appear on your Outlook calendar, just like it did today. So anytime we're meeting all together, hybrid fashion, you're gonna see a meeting that's gonna be in your general channel, and you'll see it on your Outlook calendar. That
Gotcha.
way you'll know. And then you can also see it's on the course schedule.
Okay.
So you'll see it in a couple different places. Let's see, so Samuel Gonzalez says, could the team assignments be done independently? And could they be completed without attending class? No, because you're gonna have designated days when you're gonna work on your teamwork. You can't complete team assignments independently because you're gonna want to work in a team to complete them. So there's no individual work for team projects. You're gonna work as a team. Let's see, do we have to join the Teams call on 2 separate devices? No.
I meant for like exams.
Oh, exams? No, exams won't have anything to do with teams. On the days that you have exams, then you'll go right to your exam in Canvas, and you'll make sure that you have your honor lock set up, and you'll just go ahead and start the exam online. There will be no need to report to a Teams meeting on the days of exams. Just go right to
Are we able to like plug in a webcam onto our laptop and then also use the laptop webcam for exams
Yes.
in order to set up both of them?
Yes, that's exactly how you should do it. So you should have one camera already embedded in your laptop, hopefully. And then you'll just need like a USB side camera. Plug
Okay,
it.
because I the only reason I was asking because I didn't know if you could use 2 cameras on Honor Lock because I haven't done that previously, so I just wanted to make sure.
You could as long as you turned off your webcam and like you had one of them be your front-facing camera, you could do it that way.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, like if your laptop doesn't have an embedded webcam, you'll probably have to do that. Questions? Let's see. Oh, and the other one was, we're gonna discuss teams for sure. Let's see, do we pick out our own teammates? Yes, you're gonna pick out your teammates, that is for sure. So we are definitely gonna do that. Okay, any other questions? You guys are so good at all these questions. We're really figuring things out. Any other ones? Yes.
Will Honor Lock auto sync the 2 cameras?
Yeah, Honor Lock, yeah. Like you'll see in the setup like how it works. You'll be using both. Yeah. And we'll talk more about that with your Honor Lock assignment once you guys have your 2 cameras, and then I'll be able to tell you what you see. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, let's see. Okay, I don't see any other ones online. Okay, so what's going to be super important is for you to go through your Honor Lock module. Make sure you have things set up. You're going to have an Honor Lock setup assignment. You're going to want to make sure that you decide what you're going to do about your textbook. And then today, you are going to make sure that if you decide to remain in the course, that you're going to fill in your first day attendance assignment. That's got to be turned in by before 11:59 p.m. tonight. And then you'll see the next assignments are going to be deciding teams assignments, and then we'll have an Honor Lock sign up or setup assignment, and you'll be on your way. So let us go ahead, and at this point in time, we are going to go to break, and then we're going to come back and do our rest of what we got scheduled for today. Okay, so let me go ahead and put that in here. So, online students, we are going to break until 3:45. So I will see you all back then after that. And we're going to get some things settled for this course. Alright, so snacks, water, all that good stuff. And I'll see you back at 3:45.